Hey, what's going on? This is Josh from Good Brothers Trading Academy, and today I just wanted to briefly go over Roku. This is kind of coincides with the high of day where we're talking about the range of the candle on the daily chart, and when you don't want to take a breakout over high of day, depending on what it looks like. So we have our daily chart up right now. This is our weekly. We're on Tuesday. We have a nice strong weekly close, so this stock could continue. Here's the daily, and now here's the 3-hour time frame. So we've been doing this consolidation sideways, which looks really good. Okay, so we have this strong move up, a nice extended move. We have this move sideways. This was an analyst upgrade that caused the stock to do this. I think we bought it. We bought it clear down here right before the break. And let's see, going to the smaller time frame, I want to point out this pattern very quickly. This pattern right here, we have the minute chart. We get the push down, a lower high. We get these tail candles and a move up. Now this is the high a day on several of the different time frames. If we go to like a 30-minute chart, we can now see that we're entering high a day here. So generally what we want to look for, and the stock market can do whatever it wants, but we are looking at how it's going to react around these highs during this day. Even if the pattern looks phenomenal, we want to make sure, depending on sentiment, depending on the time frame, if it gets up here and we're entering on a 1-minute chart, okay, we have, let's say, we could bring up a 5-minute chart. So we have this nice reversal pattern that played out on the 5-minute time frame, and the stock is ripping higher, and now we're hitting into high a day. Now I don't see any significant news on Roku today other than the technical pattern looks really good, and we could check out some of the other patterns kind of going on, but let's just wait and kind of see what happens, and I'll give you an update on how it works right around this high of day area. Now one thing that I wanted to bring up is, even if it comes and it breaks through, we will most likely get through it and then come down, and this is where your buy order would be. So we're soaring right through it at this point, pushing through it. So we have a lot of buyers, but we'll see if it gets pushed back down here in this range. And if it does, we'll look at the smaller time frame and we'll see what happens in this zone here. Okay, so generally, if you're grabbing high a day and you're grabbing the lows, and let's say this is a low area for the stock. Okay, so here's kind of the trading range that it's been in. So generally what happens is, you're not going to expect, you wouldn't be buying up here. We would want to see it come up if it's going to hold and then be a buyer at the top side. Okay, so we'll be patient in the trade. We continue to watch. Here's a 30-minute time frame on how that looks. It's still in the beginning stages of the day. We'll put in a zone here. This is pretty much the way it would look. So when you see this, and we'll go back to the smaller time frame, but we can see how this small pattern right here, the small flag pattern, came up and then it reversed back down. This is where pre-market was at, got stuck and then reversed back down. So if we put another line here, and let's color it a little different, we'll say it's a we'll use a white line, gray line, and then let's go to the smaller time frame and just see what the price action was around that line. Okay, so here's the market. This is where that the buy zone was, and we can see that it held that buy zone, went sideways, and then it had the breakout, and it blew right through. It didn't even come back to retest it. So the stock's proven. Now since we're breaking down and we're going, look, we're breaking down the charts and we're going, these were kind of, these were significant levels. Look where it tied in the day before. Stock price got rejected here, went up, couldn't hold, rejected, came back down. Most likely, yep, we got all this consolidation period right here, got the retest. If we scroll in to look at this day, we got the retest on the underside. So we we consolidate sideways, make a push higher, it fails, we get underneath what used to be the support, or where the struggle was, and then we get this retest and this reversal pattern. And if we look at this reversal and we put our, let's say just for right now, we put our reversal in, see how it's at the lows and these are getting tested. Look at the pattern that had to get built to get underneath it. Once it pushes underneath it, we come up and we retest it again. The next place it falls is right back down to our buy zone. We get more buying pressure and so forth, so on. So if we continue to kind of look at this stock and how it's been reacting on these particular levels, got a big rejection here. That's where stock price ran up to, gapped up into it, got rejected. And so what we want to do is we're going, okay, this has been the trading range between these two green lines. This is where our main struggle is at. This is going to give us an idea of what sentiment is. So when it gets to this last day here, and we have a lot of buying pressure. This pattern shows us that there is a lot of buyers right here. It's very strong. The momentum is up. It has like a cup and handle, right? So here's the cup part. Here's the small handle before the breakout. We go to the higher time frame, like a 5-minute chart, and look at that reversal. So we have this indecision bar. We got the reversal and then a really nice break. Now we're at the high a day, like we said, and now we can see where sellers are coming in at. So this was a supply zone. This was a demand zone. And we get the understanding of how far it's moving and traveling by how it reacts to these other zones in between. So let's drop down to a smaller time frame, and the fact that it blew through it, put in a flag way above it, could give us an indication that it would continue higher. So we can, I'll upload the chart and kind of show you what it looks like. It wouldn't surprise me to get a sell-off. It may hold this area. It wouldn't surprise me to get a sell-off and retest this zone or later on today. If the market's strong and we have market direction, it could continue. The stock market can do whatever it wants. Just wanted to point out the different sentiment, where the buy zone was, where the sell zone's at in the market, and generally when we're pushing to a high a day, and there isn't, like, if we watch our daily chart, what is the odds of this thing just continuing ripping higher? I'd have to say the sentiment looks really good, but to continue just pushing and pushing and pushing, I'm not sure. I would feel way more comfortable if this closed high up here today, consolidated sideways yesterday, and then I took the next day for the breakout. That's what I'd feel more comfortable with, rather than buying the high a day today. I would much rather be down here. Now this, and I alerted in the chat room, this was interesting to watch Roku at in this zone here. Especially when I saw the pattern being built. Okay, so I wanted to come up with a short video explaining that. Now let's look at Apple real quick, because we took the Apple position yesterday, and actually I wished I would have took it over the weekend, because Apple was coming out with a new product, their new phone, and generally, especially when we get a nice technical pattern like this, this would have been Friday, so probably buy it first thing Friday, and we got the big nice move, that gap up higher, and then the continuation yesterday, which we were able to grab and take advantage of. And if you hadn't seen that video, I'll leave that in the description box below. Do me a favor though, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so every single time you can be updated for new content. And then don't forget, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so the more comments you guys leave, I'll be able to break this stuff down live for you, and do Q&As, and that's really the kind of the goal. And so I have to get up to 1,000 subscribers in order to do that. So share the video for me and comment and tell me what tickers you want me to break down as well. So in this scenario, what I alerted in the chat, and I'll edit it in, but I was telling them that they needed to sell Apple, because today is the product launch. Now, the price of the product launch has already been worked in since last Friday. They're going, look, we're going to do the product launch on Tuesday at 1 o'clock, I believe. And so people buy it anticipating for the stock to go up, and then when the public hears about it, then they sell into that strength, and everybody starts taking profits. So it actually creates the stock price to drop and go lower. So let's look at a different time frame. Let's look at an hourly chart. And if we're looking at the technicals, we see how it explodes up. We got this nice tail candle yesterday. We bought right here on the as a pullback on a dip on a lower time frame, and we sold up here somewhere. And I would have definitely kept it if I was showing that I was getting into a small position to show that as far as profits go. I would have decided to hold, me personally, if I would have been in bigger position to get obviously more of the move. I really did expect it to close high a day, but this morning on the open, there is no doubt that people would be, in my mind, taking profit. Now, this could be a buy zone. I would feel more comfortable letting it come all the way back down to the breakout price and watching it and seeing how it reacts and then taking it from there. So if you're in long Apple, that's the way I would have played that, and I would be a buyer back down here in the 117s again. This move was pretty incredible. Generally, on a move like this, just to give you an idea, Apple will move 3% on a news thing. This thing moved 9%, 8.5%. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, no doubt that people are going to be taking profit here. Now, the market's been pretty crazy, so it can do whatever it wants, and we just, that's the importance of learning how to read the technicals, making sure that we know how to break down the charts, knowing where the failures are happening when it breaks certain critical levels. We know when to get out of the trades, or we know when to get in the trades, like this one when it's holding. We know when to get in. Now let's go back to Roku. I'm just curious to see where that's at before we go. So we're definitely getting that sell, and it can hold. It can definitely hold. We got kind of a double top going. This would not surprise me. Now, if we start breaking back above and holding this zone, I would be very cautious on waiting. We're very extended, very high up. And I would be not watching the 1 minute chart. I would be looking at a 15-minute time frame to see if we get a pattern that's holding on a bigger time frame, because the 1 minute chart is going to trick us. There's a lot of noise here. It'll go right here, put in this awesome looking bull flag, the best pennant you'll ever see, whatever you want to call it. It'll put in the sweetest pattern. It'll act like it's going to break out. You take the trade for a breakout at high a day, like I teach not to, and the sucker will come back on you. However, if this stock is going to continue, and there's a good chance that it might. Let's see how far this thing's moved already. 3%. It can move more than that. It can go 5, 6, 7. Roku can even, especially on news or a really nice technical breakout, it can move big time, 10% a day. 12% a day. So this thing does have room, but I would be watching for sure on a 15-minute time frame, and I'd want to see a nice, beautiful. I'd like to see maybe it even come back down here to 226 bucks. I'd even like to see it dip all the way down into 220, 223. I would still be, depending on what the pattern looks like, maybe we get a bar sideways and then a drop. I'd be a buyer down here at 223, and then get a nice big wick. And then I would be selling at high a day, though. I'd be selling part of my position because it still doesn't mean it's going to break. I'm telling you, high a day breakouts, we need to see specific patterns be put in. I don't know if this thing's ready to go. It looks like it has a lot of momentum. Nice close on the second, 15-minute bar of the day. The 30-minute bar, that means it's a very strong close. It could definitely continue. We're above these key levels, so it'd be something to definitely look out for. But again, no news, nothing crazy. Just wanted to kind of bring up the 80-20 rule. So if this continues, it's going to continue 20% of the time. Okay, if we're going with that rule of 80-20, 80% of the time, this is not going to work and it will fail. So make sure you're trading the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the time you're not hoping that it's going to continue further, and then 80% of the time you're following the rules, you're taking profit. For example, if you got in down here when it built that perfect pattern, I'd be taking some off here at $24, $224, and definitely taking off the majority of the shares here. And I'd be waiting for it to come back into 224, or getting out the retracement level and going maybe to the 38.2 retracement level and being a buyer in there, okay, with small share size, and then adding to my position as it continued higher or held that support, which used to be obviously resistance. Okay, so don't forget, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.